Welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show, the longest-running weekly Philly sports podcast show in the world, over 13 years strong. Got a great show coming your way this week as we get into the high cost of youth athletics, what it means for our kids' sports as they continue to grow up. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies, where they're at right here in mid-August. Also, the Philadelphia 76ers are opening the regular season against the New York Knicks. They also play the Los Angeles Lakers on Christmas Day. Going to get into that schedule and what this Sixers season is going to end up meaning. And there's a lot of questions regarding this Eagles team on the offensive side of the ball. Good stuff, good questions, which we're going to get into. And then what we're throwing down on the table this week, we got our good friend Joe DeLeone from the Ruffino Joe Show. Great podcast. He's also over at A2ZSports.com. We're going to take a look at this upcoming college football season and some storylines we're following. I'm Jeff Warren, here with my buddy Erik Leonard, known as on YouTube here, the King. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good. As long as LeBron's in town, that's going to be the moniker here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think sports are always fluid, especially here in the world of Philly sports. Len and I were talking about it last week. 3 weeks ago, you're thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on in the city with the sports teams? And then all of a sudden there's a trade deadline. The Phillies get a spark with Luis Arise, and there are good things happening in Eagles training camp. There's good things happening with the Sixers, of course. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, things are turning around. Man, things are always fluid in sports, man. It's just, and I think being in the Philly sports scene, I think we need to be grateful for it in different ways.
Yeah, because I can remember back many seasons where, at least two of the teams were just not even worth discussing. So now it's like a year-long thing for all four teams. And I'm going to give you a little tutorial here. Arias.
Oh, it's not Arise.
No, it's not Arise.
I can't pronounce names. I just can't do it correctly.
Listen, I have it in my notes here. I actually have it spelled out how to pronounce it because I was saying it wrong too. I was saying Arias at one point, and
oh gosh, what is it again?
Luis Arias.
Arias. Okay.
Arias. Yeah.
You know what? I noticed it when John Stallness was on the Table Talk interview show this week, and I was like, oh, is he saying it incorrectly or am I? And I'm like, why am I even questioning this here?
It's up there with your Jokic. And
every time I see Giannis,
yeah, the porn star Giannis, yeah, or the basketball player, yeah,
yes. Oh my gosh. Well, buddy, you were out in LA, man. Had it with your family, had a great time. Anything notable from the trip?
LA is a gigantic city.
Yes,
I mean,
it's a biggie, Billy.
Billy. No, I mean, Philly's huge and it's spread out, but you could legit walk it in, a couple days. New York is its own thing. But LA is, I just can't believe, like, if you don't have a car out there, that's one thing I did discover this past time, because I've been out there before. I don't know how you even survive living there. you would just die at some point. So much good food, a legit sports town, I will say.
I think LA is.
No, I'm just saying, like, it definitely gets that reputation of like transplants and like, it's kind of a fair weather fan bases for their teams. But no, Dodgers gear everywhere, Lakers everywhere. Yeah, not a single Clippers shirt or hat I saw.
Wouldn't expect it.
Didn't see a lot of Rams, and Chargers are. Our Chargers are invisible, but huge soccer town too. And just, man, a great city. And it's one of those too, where like, in this area, central PA, where people are just very ignorant to most things, and especially cities. You mentioned, hey, I lived in Philly for 8 years, and they're like, oh, that dump. And it's like, it's not a dump. It's gorgeous. It's a great city.
Of course. Philly's great.
LA is just absolutely beautiful, right? Like down to like we stayed in Alhambra, we went out to Malibu, which is like mind-blowing. All the beaches we went to, and every part of the city we went to was just gorgeous. It's a great city. Yeah,
glad you had a good vacation. I am looking forward to a vacation at some point in my life, hopefully after November 3rd. It'll be nice to get away for a little bit. But in the meantime, we're still doing this podcast show, still talking Philly sports world in general. And to start off this show really with with the content we wanted to dive into this week, saw a very interesting post that Jeff Passan was in about the high cost of youth athletics and what it means for our kids' sports as they grow up. And I thought it was an extremely eye-opening discussion that he was having. And yes, it was a very, very short video, but we want to play it here on the PST podcast show and respond to it. Hopefully, this is our first time trying to do some video here. You're seeing it on YouTube. Hopefully, the audio is going to be coming through because I put this together pretty quick. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear this on the audio version. I may have to do some stuff in post, but let's take a listen to Jeff Passan talking about the high cost of youth athletics and us parents kind of needing to take it back.
Why aren't parents taking sports back?
It's a huge question.
Yeah, it's not a rhetorical one either. I'm honestly flabbergasted that all of us have allowed youth sports, children. We have allowed it to become a business that consumes our lives and that guides so many decisions that we make. How did we lose the plot so badly that corporations that are making money hand over fist off of us and our children are not only doing that, but they're dog walking us at the same time. And we're just marching along to it. And I think some of it is like the desire to be good parents and to give our children all the opportunity that we can. But is this the right opportunity, or is it just the opportunity that we've been stuck with?
Is it hurting them at the same time? No, I completely agree. And I've been a big proponent because I feel like now more than ever, there's so many, in my sport at least, that there's so many NBA dads that have kids that are playing. I mean, I'll go to a tournament. I just saw Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, John Wall.
Yep.
I feel like there's so many of us, Jamal Crawford, that can come together and let's try to regulate this. But it's such a big money thing now that as parents, we feel like if our kids aren't involved in sports as their passion, they're going to miss out on the opportunity.
Nobody has stepped up to fill that vacuum yet. And if they did, I worry that all the companies that are out there making this money would somehow have them shut up.
I agree.
Pretty interesting for sure. You know, we live it, and we live within this, I guess I call it a machine, Erik, the machine of what they were just talking about, you know, corporations just making tons of money off of youth sports. It's infiltrated parents' lives, families' lives in such a way where if you are not there at the sports oh my God, I can't believe I almost said sports table. Jesus, I didn't even mean it. But if you're not there, whether it's high school, whether it's middle school, to get your kids, quote, started with whatever sport, even elementary school. I mean, our kids have been doing their sports for so many years now at this point, where now that they're older, there's a certain expectation and level that they're going to get to, but the cost of getting there, man, and I really don't want this necessarily to be, well, back in my day, you know, but more along the lines of where the industry has gone. And again, the machine that it actually is, and how it's not really all that great for kids all the time, not great for families necessarily. And from a cost perspective, it hurts people, and it hurts people that can't afford it too at the end of the day. So I thought it was a really interesting video, an interesting discussion that those two gentlemen were having, and wanted to bring it up here on the show. Do you have any thoughts, man?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can speak directly to AAU basketball. Because I coached for 3 years and managed my team and all the finances involved. Like I had to keep my own books and everything, and
part of the machine. Part of the machine.
I know. I'm a commie, so I hated becoming part of the machine. But you know, we live in a capitalist. I'm not going to make this a political thing, but like we do live in a capitalist country, and everything eventually becomes a commodity. And you know, once the club team, AAU basketball, once that environment started to thrive, you know, that's when not corporations, but like, you know, that's when it got commodified, and that's when they all, you know, they became all these groups became outside of youth sports, outside of school sports, and became their own thing, you know. And I do understand, you know, going back to the 80s where, you know, there were kids that were not going to get discovered, you know, and that was just kind of the way it was. You've heard all the stories of like playground legends in New York who got overlooked.
Yep.
And I'm sure all over the country. I mean, just go back and like, there's a documentary on the Houston University of Houston team from the 80s where Hakeem Olajuwon basically had some college offers. He was over in Africa, came over, and he asked a baggage handler at JFK, like, which of these schools should I go to? And the guy was like, well, you should go to this one because it's warmer. And he wound up going to Houston and became a super. And then you think of the movie Blue Chips, right? Where Nick Nolte's character has to take a boat to like the far reaches of Louisiana and the swamps to go see Shaq of all people. Like that doesn't happen anymore. And, you know, and I'm saying all that because the upside of AAU is that it brings on new competition for players that want to go to the next level and exposure out of all things, right? That's the big selling point in AAU.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I was part of that. And
even in my daughter's gymnastics, by the way, we'll get to AU in a second, but even my daughter's gymnastics, my daughter came to me and said, Dad, she just went to a place called International Gymnastics Camp up in the Poconos, very well renowned throughout the world. There's people there from other countries, other states as well. And she came back and she's like, Dad, I think I may need to set up another Instagram account specifically for gymnastics, as she is looking to potentially get recruited at some point because she is heading into her sophomore year. That's the mentality, not even mentality, but that's where the industry is at. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you in terms of your AU experience.
No, but I'll speak to that right now. Like my daughter has like an Instagram account and a YouTube channel just to to promote her dance.
Yeah.
She's looking to get exposure in that regard. And that's the reason we went to LA, was for a huge intensive and big things they about was exposure, the business side of dance. And it was really helpful for her. But it where does the financial windfall go to? Like, where does that go to, and who has to pay the price? And it's the parents,
right?
I was lucky in AU basketball. I was the coach, so I didn't have to pay those fees. I had to pay for uniforms, but I had to sign us up for tournaments, travel stuff, and uniforms. And like, I saw what these parents were paying. It's outrageous. And take that times 100, 200,000 across the country now.
Yep.
And I'm sure it's probably worse for baseball and hockey because of the equipment. Football, I'm sure, is just as wild. Now, it does provide you the opportunity to play year round, and these organizations do promote the players within their organizations, especially AAU, I know of. And that's one of the upsides: new competition exposure. Because you play at the junior high school level, you play. I can speak to basketball. You play probably 18 to 20 teams that you played the year prior, right?
Right.
Whereas with here, you're playing teams from New York, DC. These AAU programs are filming these games and putting it out on social media. But the thing that drives me crazy now is that we all have social media. Yeah, like kids. I mean, I follow some kids now from the program I used to be in AAU, and they have their own Instagram accounts, and those profiles get boosted. And unfortunately, and they talk about it in All the Smoke on the clip we just watched, that all of that financial burden falls on the families.
Yes.
You know, the AAU programs, I'm not sure where all the money goes. I'm not even going to say which group I was part of, because I don't want to incite anything or be accusatory in any way, but I know how much money was going and how much money these tournament companies are. I mean, I get emails from like 10 of them a day. And I still get it, even though I'm not doing it anymore. I get them year round, saying, "Hey, we got a tournament. It's only $500. It's in February." And I'm like,
"Oh, it's incredible with the gymnastics scene." My daughter's coach, who's the owner of the facility, she's told us before how much we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars to just get the gymnasts from different teams registered for a day or a weekend, I should say, of competition. Yeah. It's incredible. We're thousands of dollars. We're talking like $5,000, $6,000, even perhaps more than that, depending on what the actual invitational is that they would be going to. But man, it's really insane. It really is. It's insane the amount of money that us parents have to pay and have paid for years. And you think about it, and you're like, man, we could have gone on a really nice vacation or two this year.
And I've found that like vacations are now, I mean, when I was in basketball, vacations were wrapped around or like revolved around a tournament.
Yeah.
Like I had to be like, well, we're going to Ocean City, Maryland for a tournament. I guess that'll be our vacation this year.
Yeah.
And the thousands and thousands of dollars spent don't outweigh the upside, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's relegated youth sports, your local youth sports programs, to just the minor leagues. Like I know many kids, and my son included, when he was involved in AAU, we didn't do rec basketball because I was already so involved with AAU, and so was he, that it just made it, there was no point to it. And that's just less money for those programs. And it just snowballs from there. And it just, imagine that across the country.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is the parents who think their kid could make it.
Yes.
And they'll drop $10,000 on a travel baseball team.
I was going to go there next. Yep.
And the kid has no shot. And nobody wants to tell the parents that. Because believe me, those programs aren't going to be like, well, I don't know if he's good enough. No, they pretty much take everybody. I've only had to cut like 3 kids in 3 seasons. And I'm sure the program was not happy about that because that's less money.
Right.
But I mean, I'm like, I can't take this kid who can't dribble his left hand. We're playing teams in Washington, D.C. I can't take a kid who can't dribble with his left. It's a joke. Yeah. But that's what it's become. And it's sad to see what's happened to youth sports because, I mean, you see I see the sign up numbers and the financials involved with youth sports because I was also involved with local youth sports.
Yeah.
And we got to have like 3 hoagie fests a year just to make enough money to get these crappy uniforms on these kids.
I never saw an order form.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm not going to bother you with that crap.
It really is amazing. We'd love to hear from you out there as well. Leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, youth sports, what it's meant to you and your family. We'd love to read your comments and hear about your experiences as well. Feel free to email us, philadelphiasportstable@gmail.com. We'd love to read your email here on the show and respond to it. We are going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to be diving into some Philly sports. Stick with us. Let's now dive into the Philadelphia Phillies. They made some moves at the trade deadline. Of course, Len and I got into that last week. They're now, 8.5 games, 9 perhaps at this point, behind the Braves in the NL East, going back and forth with the Padres at this point as to whether or not they're even going to be in the 3rd wild card spot. The team's floundering. The sentiment of the fan base is that, this team is way too streaky, not enough consistency. We're seeing it time and time again, game after game. So we wanted to give our thoughts on what this Phillies team is really going to need to do here in August for a successful postseason run, if that can even happen. And I don't believe at this point, even though I do have some optimism because the team does have talent, but it seems that there's one thing after another, whether the bullpen implodes, whether it's Bryce Harper not being as healthy as we want him to be, whether it's Kyle Schwarber going 3 weeks without hitting a home run. There is always something with this team that's putting up some sort of roadblock, Erik. And I just don't know if this Phillies team is going to be able to sustain any sort of consistency with productive baseball at all for the remainder of this season to have a successful postseason. Here in mid-August, things are really tough for this team, and I just can't see them getting any better, even though I'm holding out hope because I know there is talent on this team. I don't know. What have you been thinking about with this?
Okay, I was in LA for a week just recently, and which we talked about. And sorry if in the first segment if I seemed a little interrupted. My son was right here off screen making faces at me because he just got back from the gym. And I was really trying to
I love
over.
It. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was trying to make a good point in this jerk off.
Yes.
So okay, this is what I want to ask you. I'm out there. I got my YouTube TV set up. So I watched all the Phillies games, which it was terrible.
I know. I know.
But man, the games are over by like 6:30. And then you have your whole night, you have your whole night in front of you.
It's nice.
Do you like that?
That would be nice.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. And I was like, man, this is nice. Yeah.
Because what's happening anymore for me when I'm a 49-year-old man at this point, you are going to be 50 very soon, my friend.
Uh-huh.
Like within days here is that I'm getting tired, but I'm getting pissed off tired watching the Phillies. And I don't like pissed off tired.
Yeah.
It's the end of the game. Somebody's blowing a save, or the bullpen's given up 3 or 4 runs. And I'm like, I have invested this time in my night here. And this is the garbage and crap that I'm not only feeling right now, but I'm also feeling tired because this boy has been working all day long. So I wish we had the games that would end at like 6:30 for sure.
I'm telling you, it was so nice. And the first night I was like, this kind of sucks. I have nothing else to watch at 6:30. But then one of the things about LA, there's so much good food everywhere. And we were in a section where there was just amazing Thai food and Korean food, just all over the place. And the game's over at 6:30. I'm pissed off. I'm just like, well, let me go eat one of the best meals I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
To forget about that shit Phillies game. Just wanted to ask that or put that to you. What are my thoughts on the Phillies right now? So you talk about being streaky, and the downside of being streaky is, the rise and the fall, and when do you do it? And we've watched this team throughout the years rise at the right time and then downslide at the wrong time. And this is screaming of they're going to rise in mid-August. They're going to make a run. We're going to be really excited. And then, around mid-September, all of a sudden, Schwarber hasn't hit a home run in 10 games.
Yeah.
Harper's tweaked a hammy or something.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah.
So, I mean, and we must be a curse because we talked about Luis Arias.
Arise.
And I'm looking at his stats here since he joined the Phillies. He's batting 200 since he joined the Phillies. He's 8 hits and 40 at bats, 564 OPS with an offensive WAR of -0.2. With the Giants, he made the All-Star team and he never struck out. And all of a sudden he joins this club and he had a great first game. Hasn't done much since then. Now, he hasn't had much help around him in the lineup.
Right.
Alec Baum, of course, my favorite Philly. Our first baseman, by the way, who sucks defensively. He's batting 231 on the season, 653 OPS still. This is after, 6 seasons in the major leagues with the Phillies?
Yep.
And he has a WAR this year of -1.1. Now, I'm not a stat head, but that means I could probably be put in at first base. As I'm going to be 50 in 4 days.
Right.
I would be potentially, statistically speaking, a better replacement at this point than Alec Baum is at first base. So it's not good.
Cinnamon stick legs and all.
Yeah. And he has cinnamon stick legs, but he's also jacked. So whatever. Defensively, they're a mess. We knew with the infield shift was going to happen defensively was going to suck. Harper's had some rough spots in right field. But even the starting pitching, since the All-Star break, Wheeler's given up 13 earned runs in his last 4 starts.
Crazy.
Nola just continues to be a complete disaster. Painter's still a mystery. He had a good outing against the Orioles. And
he actually had 3 decent outings. And those 3 outings since the All-Star break coming back, 2.24 ERA, I think. Not bad. Or 2.64 ERA, something like that.
Well, and unfortunately with Dombrowski not making a move at starting pitcher, we're banking on him possibly being our 4th best starter because Nola is just a mess. And then you talk about the bullpen. Killian's already on the IL. We just picked him up.
That sucks. Yeah.
And Raley in 4 appearances has a 4.50 ERA since joining the team. With the Mets, he had a 1.90 ERA.
Yeah.
So either he's a double agent or he's just getting his feet wet with the club. So
right.
I am absolutely thinking this team is going to peak again starting in mid-April. Well, soon, right?
Mid-August.
Mid-April. Mid-August, maybe next week. And then they're going to be right in the hunt. They're going to get in the wild card and just kind of fizzle out early in the playoffs. Because that's how this team is set up. They're older. And they keep streaking, to use the term you used in the segment, they keep streaking at the wrong time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no consistency at all with this team. And I think that's something we're gonna see. We're gonna see streakiness, a good streakiness, like you're talking about, at some point here in August. Good streakiness, and then it's gonna just fizzle out. I mean, it's the same ingredients that we have, and it's the same And even though I have some bit of hope and optimism left. So let us know what you're thinking, folks. PhiladelphiaSportsTable@gmail.com. Shoot us off an email. Let us know what you're thinking about this. We are going to take another break here. When we get back, we're going to talk some Sixers and some Eagles. Stick with us. All right, the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be opening the regular season against the New York Knicks. My God, what a game that is going to be. They also play the Los Angeles Lakers on Christmas Day. Buddy, I cannot wait for the opening of the regular season against the New York Knicks, the reigning NBA champions, as much as it hurts me to say that. But this season is going to be one hell of a show in terms of professional basketball, and we're going to get it like right out of the gate with that regular season opener, man. I can't wait for it.
I mean, they're in the big time now, and after they got Jaylen Brown, after they got Jaylen Brown, they were already going to be on national TV left and right. Getting a LeBron just puts it in the stratosphere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the four finalists in last year's playoffs, Knicks, Cavs, OKC, Spurs. The Cavs have been tossed aside as a national team, and the Sixers have easily replaced them with the moves they made.
Yep.
And as a long time Sixers fan, praying for a title, hopefully in the next 2 years. I am so thrilled to have a national team like this.
Yes.
Like they flirted with it before. The 2019-2020 season, after they lost to the Raptors in the second round in a heartbreaker, they were going to be one of those like top 4, top 5 teams nationally. They were going to be on TV all the time, and then COVID hits.
Yep.
There's no freaking basketball, unfortunately. So this is probably their biggest ascent into the national spotlight since probably 2002, 2001. After they made the finals with Iverson.
God, decades, Jesus.
I was half my age at this point, right? So, anybody who doesn't like this, the Spike Eskins, whatever, I don't care. Like, this is awesome having a team that is thrust into the spotlight like this.
How the fuck can you not like this? I'm sorry. These
amazing
jerk offs.
Yeah.
How the fuck can you not like this? Talking about how can I be so cynical in such a good thing that's in front of us? That's what we're seeing with these jerk offs. I cannot stand these people.
They're the ultimate, like, I need attention so bad. I just need attention. My mommy didn't hug me enough. And it's like the LA Shore Parks of the world. And your Spike Eskins and your Marcus Hayeses. Like, those are the people that have, you talk about Negadelphia. Those are the guys that make it. Like, we bitch about our teams on this show.
Yeah.
But those types of people are the ones that just make me sick to my stomach and ruin the reputation of fans. So I love that this is happening. And one quick thought is that, you got 2 young guys. I still consider Maxey a young guy. He was second team All NBA. He's a superstar, but he's still really young. And I love that they have him and VJ. Like, Embiid, LeBron, and Jaylen Brown, they're used to the spotlight. There's multiple titles across. Well, 2 of them, not our big guy. But I love that VJ and Maxey seem like they're gonna relish the spotlight. Like, I can't see either of them shying away from it, especially Edgecombe. Like, he seems like a totally ready for it and a killer on top of that. Like, he's busting his ass. You watch his Instagram stuff. It doesn't come off like Ben Simmons for all the years on Instagram. He's like, Ben Simmons' jumper looks like it's a problem this time. No, it's not. It was never a problem. It's broken. It's always been broken.
Right.
But I like that they have 2 young guys that are going to be, I think, are going to take the reins and be like, this is awesome. We love this. And it's going to help them financially, but also just, I think they want that pressure. And I love that we have a team, the makeup of the team is ready for this.
I don't know which podcast it was. I'm trying to remember right now. I'm forgetting what podcast it was. Maxey was just on it. He was talking about VJ's role this year. He said he was talking about, years ago when James Harden came in, and he was like, oh, it's cool that Harden's here, but what's my role going to be? And he's like, I want to make sure that VJ knows that he's going to have a role. It's not just going to be scoring 4 points a night, that he's going to have a significant role in this offense and with this team. and he's not going to have anything to worry about. And I just love that Maxey is there to not only say that, but I know that that's what's going to be implemented. That like you said, we are going to see VJ, and he's going to be an extremely important part of this 2026 and 2027 team, and in the future as well.
He is going to be, I mean, just name me a 5 or 6 hole hitter in baseball that got every pitch he saw, or I'm sorry, like that because there's someone behind him. Like Chase Utley always got pitches because, Ryan Howard was behind him in his prime.
Yeah.
VJ is going to get wide open shots, wide open takes. He's going to have so many backdoor cuts with an absolute basketball genius out there in LeBron James and a great passer. He's absolutely going to succeed in this situation. But besides he's probably going to be our best wing defender besides Jaylen Brown.
Right.
And not to mention, he also played like 40 minutes a game last year. He's very durable.
Right.
So and 95% of the time, talent outweighs that. Talent comes through. And if he's out there 36 minutes a game, like he was this past season, his defense and all of the pressure being on those other 4, it's going to come out in points, rebounds. He's going to have some highlights you've never seen before. Some insane passes from LeBron, from the high post or whatever. I think VJ is going to be. I've heard the same. I've heard the narrative too. Like he's only going to average 12 points a game. I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Lots of optimism, of course, for this upcoming Sixers season. And as we transition now over to the Philadelphia Eagles, lots of optimism as well about this Eagles' new offense, how Jalen Hurts may be flourishing within this new Sean Mannion system. I do wonder, though, at times because we do this in the world of Philly sports, Erik, we get really hyped up on new stuff, new shiny objects all the time. And rightfully so. We get hyped up. Last year's offense was horrendous. The Philadelphia Eagles did not perform well offensively last year, where they should have been with the talent that was on this team. Poor offensive coordinator. Guy really didn't know what he was doing and did not use the talent on the team on offense to their fullest potential. This year seems like a different story. The hype is absolutely there. And Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion are just meshing from the reports. Jalen Hurts actually looks faster. He actually looks more fluid right now. Our good friend Ed Kratz, who was on the show last week, says he actually looks lighter as well, which is helping in terms of his athleticism that he already has. But again, I'm wondering if this is way too much hype for us here as we're looking at the first preseason game this Saturday, and hopefully injury bug does not hit this team. But I don't know, man. I feel like I'm buying into this hype surrounding this offense based on the reports, what everybody's saying. You watch the practices and clips on Twitter or Instagram, and it's like I'm here for this. So I don't know. I just wonder if this hype is real or not. Are you feeling the hype here?
Oh, I definitely am. This is probably the most talented roster since the Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. Again, health of the offensive line is huge, and this is probably Lane Johnson's last year.
Yeah.
So let's hope he goes out with on a high note.
Yeah.
But all the pressure's on Hurts. That whether he likes it or not, the narrative in the media is this is your team now. You traded AJ Brown away. There was some kind of rift between you two, and I may not even be true, but that's just that's the narrative that's out there.
Yep.
And all the pressure's on him to succeed. And I have seen some stuff on social media, like highlights of him, so far in camp. The passes are too quick. They're trying to make this too easy for him. Like, what is he hiding, or what are they hiding? Because all these passes are so fast. They're trying to get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't have to make decisions. It's like, no, I think that's just the offense. And that's
exactly.
That's kind of what the offense was prior, mixed in with some long balls because you had 2 phenomenal receivers on both ends. I just think offensively they're super duper talented at receiver as well this time around. They don't have the AJ Brown long ball guy, but they have Devontae Smith, who's definitely a 1.
Yeah.
They have a cavalcade of receivers. Mekhi Lemon is going to be huge, and hopefully Barkley has a bounce back season. But I also think it's funny. I can't remember. We call the offensive coordinator Poo Poo Holes. I don't remember his actual name. That's how bad he was.
Kevin Patullo.
But yeah, sure.
Yes.
But I was sitting there going, I was going to say his name, but like, I don't remember it. So we'll just go with Poople Holes. You know, the Negadelphi in me has just got to say, like, this man, you can't be any worse, right?
Yeah.
And just from like what I've heard so far out of camp, it just sounds like it's a much better situation just for the offense alone.
Absolutely.
Defensively, my God, this team, I think they're ready to like have another breakout season.
Yeah.
It was a little shaky last year at times, but also the offense wasn't doing shit. So I just want to say though, whoever in the Eagles social media team or staff posted a recent Instagram of
Hurts throwing the interception.
Yeah, like what the hell was that? Like
fantastic.
Again, the narrative across the national media is like Jalen Hurts. Are we sure Jalen Hurts is good? I've seen him ranked as low as like 10 to 12.
Or is it a Quinyon Mitchell highlight? You know what I mean?
But I'm thinking like, couldn't you have gotten a Quinyon Mitchell interception on the backup and not the starting quarterback who's a little bit in the haze of like, is he good or not? Speak across the media. So, kudos to him for getting it on there. I just think it's kind of funny. I'm sure at some point he had to answer to somebody like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Yeah. I love the Eagles social media team. I actually watched some like documentary stuff, like a real short documentary on what their day is, like a day in the life of the social media team. And it was really interesting to see what they do during the course of the day.
It's not
easy.
Awesome. I'm sure.
No, it's not easy at all. But yeah, I'm buying the hype for sure. Are you buying the hype, folks? Leave us a comment below. Are you buying the hype with this Eagles offense? Even the defense that Erik was talking about as well. Would love to hear from you. Buddy, I'm going to let you go, and then we're going to get into some college football talk. You want to stick around for the college football talk?
Don't care at all. I know. If you just talk about Penn State, I'm in. Everything else, I don't care.
Well, I'm not going to really get into Penn State. Some Big Ten talk. We did Penn State a couple weeks ago. I know. All right. Any final thoughts here before I let you go, bud?
I think what I'm going to do, I just thought of this now. I think I'm going to watch the Phillies game the next day at 3:00.
Ooh.
So I'll be done at 6.
Okay.
And then I'll have my whole night in front of me.
There you go. But you're not going to need, are you going to look at what the score was prior to watching?
Yeah, I probably will by accident. So it'd be kind of useless, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't thought this through. So
that's what I'm here for, bud.
Thank you.
Help you out.
I'm almost 50, Jeff. I'm forgetting things already.
Oh my gosh. Get that AARP card out. Oh,
it came to me in the mail like 2 weeks ago. It was such a bummer, man.
All right, buddy. I'm going to let you go. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we get back, a lot of college football talk and storylines that we're going to be following during this upcoming season. The college football season is right around the corner. I cannot wait to have college football on my screens, and I know a lot of folks out there in the PST world cannot wait for the college football season to get here as well. We have from A to Z Sports. He does a lot of scouting over there, follows the NFL, college football as well. And also, if you have not heard of the Ruffino and Joe Show, great podcast, our good friend Joe DeLeone. My friend, thanks so much for jumping on here.
Yeah, it's always a great time of year when we're a few weeks away from the season. It's kind of like Christmas Eve for me mentally. I'm fired up that the season's almost here.
I am fired up to see what some of this talent is going to do this season in college football. It seems like every year, Joe, the level of talent just it goes higher and higher and higher, and we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see it from, I think, the QB position. We're going to see it from wide receivers, running backs, defensive line, offensive line as well. So we're going to get into some teams here, but we're also going to get into some of the talent. I wanted to start off with the quarterback position in terms of what we're going to see this college football season, and all eyes are certainly going to be on Arch Manning down in Texas. He's certainly gotten some hype here and there, and he's certainly hyping himself up recently as well. I just wonder, based on what we have seen from him, short sample size, of course, but is he actually going to be the real deal? Because the pressure is on. He's a Manning. The pressure is on him. Is he going to be the real deal in your opinion?
I think that he is, and I think that last season at the very end of the year, we got a glimpse of what he was capable of becoming. The beginning of the year, the tribulations and struggles that he went through, I think are ultimately going to help him become a better player. A lot of times these big name guys that step into big programs, they have an easy path. They've got a good offensive line. Yeah. They've got plenty of weapons. The beginning of the year, they don't face very many tough teams. So naturally they're able to just build up their confidence and move on from there. And the minute that they get punched in the mouth, sometimes they don't always know how to respond. I think that Arch is as dangerous as he could be because he learned how to work through confidence issues and when there's situations where the team around him is not fully equipped to support him and he has to do more than a quarterback might typically need to do. I think that just overall, he's a premier athlete. He's a pretty natural player. He's got a really natural arm. I think with the tandem of Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, he's going to have a lot of big plays to create in the pass game, not to mention the fact that I think their offensive line is going to be a lot better with some reshuffling and the addition of Melvin Siani, who could be a top 50 pick in this upcoming draft.
Right. I think he certainly is going to develop even more as a quarterback this coming season. Again, like you talked about, the offensive line, I think, is going to be really key for that development for him. But when we also take a look to moving on from Arch Manning here, in terms of quarterbacks and other quarterback prospects heading into this season outside of Arch Manning, that really could be that next pretty good pro quarterback in the NFL. Are there some guys that you're really looking at, guys we really need to keep in mind? And even if there are some guys who are kind of under the radar that really aren't, getting the attention at this point here in August of 2026 that we should be concentrating on. What are your thoughts here in terms of other quarterback prospects we need to keep our eyes on?
Yeah, I think that there's one player that is locked in to probably being a top 10 player, not locked in, but is an easy understanding before the season of where he's going to fit in the quarterback class, unless he has something, disastrous performance. Dante Moore from Oregon was regarded as a likely top 2 pick had he declared last draft, and he decided to go back to school. His profile is understood by the NFL. He's very CJ Stroudish in kind of the way that he plays, where he's got a laid back demeanor, but he's got like a really smooth throwing motion. Everything just feels really simple for him as a prospect. But there's this large group of guys that I think that a number of them could emerge as starters in the NFL. And depending on what happens this year, I'm sure most will fall off like we typically get. But this group has so many more options than we've had over the past couple of years. It starts with Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, who was a big name going into the season, but had a bit of a disappointing year. Drew Mestemaker, the North Texas, Oklahoma State kid, is big, strong. He's got a powerful arm. I think that he's going to have a lot of attention. CJ Carr from Notre Dame, if he chose to declare, has a lot of NFL folks that love him. I think that you could throw in there Darian Mensah from Miami, who's got a chance to put up some gaudy stats in the offense that he's going to be playing in, as well as Jaden Mayava, who was the number 1 most efficient quarterback in the country a year ago in EPA per dropback. He has to be brought up in the mix as well. And then, we could kind of move down the list a little bit more with some outliers. I think Trinidad Chambliss is pretty interesting to discuss, and Sam Levitt as well, who Chambliss is a lot more successful and has a lot more of a background of big game performances, but is a bit undersized. And Levitt's a wild card because he's all over the place. He's just got a lot of work that he needs to do in his first year in Lane Kiffin's offense.
Absolutely. It's a really great segue in terms of Lane Kiffin's offense because, look, and there's a lot of people that aren't Lane Kiffin fans out there for various reasons, but I think it is safe to say that arguably LSU basically won the offseason at this point. And I think the real question is, will this pay dividends this coming fall? You just talked about quarterback position. I wonder from a defensive perspective, what we're going to end up seeing from this team and from this unit as well, how they're going to fare in the SEC. What are your thoughts here on Lane Kiffin and this LSU team that, like I said, basically did a fantastic job during the offseason, but is it going to pay dividends?
Yeah, I think that this Kiffin team, he did a really good job of being aggressive in the transfer portal and trying to go after as many players as possible to like really build a big roster for his first upcoming year. I actually think that it's not hyperbolic to say that this is the best roster that Lane Kiffin has ever had as a head coach.
Oh, yeah.
I think that what he has on both lines of scrimmage has just a lot of gifted players that could go on to become top 50 selections in the upcoming draft. But with that being said, though, I'm not putting crazy high expectations on what this team does. I think they're going to be 9-3. I think that Kiffin is good enough of a coach to activate this team where they're competitive, where they steal a game, maybe against Alabama at home later on in the year. But I think that there's naturally going to be limitations with trying to build a culture in year one. It is always going to be tough trying to build that culture. So I'm kind of giving it a little bit of time before we see what LSU can capably be before we jump to any conclusions that they have to win right off the bat.
I love that you mentioned the culture aspect of what LSU may or may not become, because when it comes to Lane Kiffin, and again, like, I don't want to pile on the guy. Like I said, I'm not a fan of him and how he handles himself and has handled himself throughout his career. But from a culture standpoint, it just seems like a hit or miss when it comes to Lane Kiffin. Like, he could be very divisive, and I wonder what type of culture he's going to end up bringing to LSU. I mean, what are your thoughts on how that culture could manifest itself, and could there be any divisional based aspects of what he's trying to do that could kind of tank what they want to do down at LSU?
Well, I'm not super worried about like him not being able to build that culture, because I think that he built a winning culture at Ole Miss, and he showed that with a program that's historically not very good, he is capable of, building and developing a roster that can win a lot of games. I think that by year 2 is probably going to be when we see the real returns and how good LSU can be. I just don't think that we should be expecting that it's a national title or bust, despite a lot of people putting that projection on this LSU team.
Okay, very good. Folks, we're going to take a break here, and when we get back, we're going to be talking a lot more about the Big Ten. We're going to get into some Big Ten teams. We're also going to talk about Oklahoma and what we may expect from the Sooners this coming season. Stick around. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, we are back with our buddy Joe DeLeone from the Ruffino and Joe Show. Great podcast, folks. Also, he does a lot of great work over at A to Z Sports, A2ZSports.com. Check out everything they have going on over there. And where can folks find you on the interwebs out there if they want to connect with you, Joe?
Yeah, you can find me at Joe DeLeone, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and again, Ruffino and Joe Show, part of 24/7 Sports. You can find that on YouTube. We're dropping lots of content before the season starts.
Yes, absolutely. Seriously, you guys do a fantastic job. Always love watching some of your segments that you're putting up on Twitter, and you do a great job. Love it. Thanks. So, look, you recently were talking about a specific team on the Ruffino and Joe Show and how they may surprise us this season, the Oklahoma Sooners. And you indicated that, the vibe is that they are very underrated, of course, heading into this season. Can you talk about, Joe, what we should be expecting from Oklahoma this year? Maybe why they're underrated, why you have those vibes and those feelings heading into this season. Would love to hear your thoughts on Oklahoma here.
Yeah, I think that for some reason they're just not getting brought up as a team that should be at the top of the conference. Their win total is 7.5, which is absurdly low for a team as good. And then now they have a really tough schedule, but the big reason why I like them, I think they have the best defense in the SEC. I think Brent Venables has shown that he's coaching that unit up to be the best defense in the SEC. And a lot of my faith in them hinges on hope that John Mateer ends up improving after last season. His confidence felt like it was shot. His hand was destroyed and his accuracy suffered. And naturally, when you're worried about where the ball is going to go because your accuracy is disrupted, you're going to make poor decisions on the field. I also don't think that he was had the same impact as a runner. And it's very clear that there's been a deliberate attention to him bulking up and adding to his frame. So I really think that Mateer is going to end up bouncing back enough that this Oklahoma team is a playoff team. And they're the one team that I keep bringing up. If there's a Miami or an Ohio State this year that doesn't go to their conference championship game and goes on a run and gets to the national championship, I think that it's going to be Oklahoma, because they're just built front to back along both lines of scrimmage to get that done.
I would agree with you too. So like you said, one of the best defenses probably in the SEC, if not the best defense in the SEC. There's absolutely something to be said for that. And I think that defense is really going to keep them in games, and in fact, probably win them some games here and there. But moving on here with our conversation, of course, I'm a huge Penn State fan, and I'm thinking that this season they're going to fare much better this year with a very favorable schedule, new coach to start this new era of Penn State football. And it makes me think of what the Big Ten is going to be as we look forward to this season here. And I wonder what we're going to see from Michigan within this Big Ten conference here, Joe, because, they have the talent. If I'm being objective, and I never want to ever, talk well of Michigan being a Penn State fan, but look, they have the talent, but I'm wondering if they are going to be able to get into the college football playoff. What are your thoughts here on what Michigan can or maybe cannot do this season?
Yeah, I'm not ready to jump to them being a playoff team because I think that naturally there's been enough turmoil this offseason and turnover that is going to hold them back. I think that Underwood is going to improve. I think that Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator, is going to get a lot out of him. I think he's one of the most creative, unique play callers in college football. And the fact that he's got Savion Hyder and Jordan Marshall to work with, we're going to see ungodly rushing totals from this team. But I do think that there's a big leap that needs to come from Underwood when you're dealing with the distractions and you're this star of the team. Yeah. You don't really have the proper normal offseason to, I think, like really focus on your growth as a player. I think it maybe he's not stunted, but doesn't lead to the full jump that we're hoping for. And I think naturally just with his team losing some key pieces with the whole Sharon Moore ordeal that went down, I think that, and also the Ward Manuel circumstance, I think that those distractions are enough that Michigan is more of an 8-4 team. Maybe they go 9-3, and another team that I think is more equipped for a big run in 2027.
Yep. All right. Very good. Well, before I let you go, there's another Big Ten team that I wanted to talk about because, I do wonder if USC is finally poised to make their first appearance in the college football playoff. Lincoln Riley has certainly built a really good team, and we talked about culture earlier with Lane Kiffin, but from a culture standpoint, Lincoln Riley really building that culture out at USC, and I'm wondering if they're also going to be able to compete for a potential playoff spot this year. I don't. What are your thoughts here to close us out?
USC is the other team that I keep bringing up as a team that I think is a sleeper, a dark horse to win the title or at least get to a national championship. Kind of similar to a lot of things they talked about with Oklahoma, where they're just really built to be able to do, to stun people in the Big Ten. Their offensive line is one of the best in the country, which is unexpected. I don't think people really realize that. I really like Elijah Page. I think he's going to be a first-round pick, potentially at tackle. I think that their receiving core is going to be just as explosive. Their running back tandem with King Miller and with Wayman Jordan is one of the better tandems in the Big Ten. Defensively, they're a lot more physical up front than they've been in the past. And I think that Gary Patterson's going to be a really good coach. I think he's going to be able to activate this team, being a former longtime successful head coach at TCU and also an innovator defensively. But biggest reason why I like this team is that you've got Jaden Mayava coming back, another year in the system, had a big leap last year. He was the most efficient quarterback in the country, number 1 in e-paper dropback. And I think that having that success is going to really, really help, USC's ability to legitimately, be able to win the Big Ten and maybe at least get 10-2 and be consistent enough to the point where they're banging on that door and maybe they put together a little bit of a run.
Absolutely. I think it's Penn State's most difficult game on the schedule for sure. USC, they're definitely going to be making some waves this year in the world of college football. Again, folks, he is Joe DeLeone from the Ruffino and Joe Show podcast. Give them a listen and also head on over to AtoZSports.com. Follow Joe on various social media sites. Search him out. He's a great, great follow. My friend, thanks so much for jumping on the PST podcast show this week. It was great talking to you as always. Let's do this again at some point down the road. I'd love to have you back.
Of course.